Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar Buzz. Trevor here, joined by Thomas, as always, and we are talking about Best Supporting Actor. We have lots of people that have a name that starts with R. I'm looking at you, Robert, Ryan, and Ruffalo. Let's just get into this category because it's interesting. Poor Things happened, and it's very good, and there's a lot of contenders here. So let's talk about it. Okay, do we still have Ryan Gosling number one? Because I don't know if I'm feeling it.
I don't know. It's a type of thing that could, towards the end of all the season, come back up and people are raving about his performance.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. It's incredibly difficult, this category to call. I mean, this is like unlike supporting actress, which has just not very many contenders. This has very overly packed, very overly saturated.
Yeah.
Poor Things really did, as you say, come in and add two
Juice it up.
very strong contenders.
Here's the thing. Here's why I'm potentially leaning more towards the first of the younger of the Roberts. The Downey. Because the fabric softener.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at a year of narratives, and if you look at our previous videos, in actor, supporting actress, we're going for narratives. We're going for Lily Gladstone. We're going for Bradley Cooper. We're going for Emily Blunt. Okay,
We're all in a narrative trend. Yeah.
They all have different narratives. Similar to last year, it was all very narrative driven.
For sure.
And I think if you're able to marry the narrative with the performance and the film, like that's where you're in the best place, and that's what like the intersection of those three categories is what we need to be looking at for these predictions. And I think that Robert Downey Jr. is that. I think he's the marriage of those three.
Potentially. I mean, I think the problem with Ryan Gosling is, I guess the performance could come across a little one note by the end of the year. Like we've seen, yes,
yeah.
I feel like we could be
also doing something similar.
Exactly, I think we could be exposed to death with Ryan Gosling. I think there is definitely a chance that the hype train becomes too much and it just sort of goes a bit overboard. Like potentially that could be a problem. I think let's not rule Robert De Niro out of this conversation. Like people are saying this is career best.
Mm-hmm. He's really good. He'd be a great choice.
He'd be a great choice. And if the film is potentially a Best Picture winner, potentially Martin Scorsese comes along with it, potentially Gladstone comes along with it, potentially Robert Downey Jr. also Robert De Niro, slides in there as well for a win. Too many Roberts in this category. But yeah, like I wouldn't rule out him. I mean, there is a very valid case to be made for Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, Mark Ruffalo as well. If Poor Things ends up winning Best Picture, Mark Ruffalo could come along. I don't see him winning if Poor Things isn't winning Best Picture, and I don't think Poor Things is winning Best Picture, but it's definitely in the conversation. If that does end up happening, then like Ruffalo could come along with that package. Because he's like everybody, like every single thing that he did, my audience was like losing it in the theater. Like it's a really funny performance.
And I mean, I don't know, I haven't seen the film, but I've also heard potential talk about Willem Dafoe being the performance that gets highlighted out of the two. And
he's great. He's like Willem Dafoe is like I don't know, like he's playing like he's very much doing a character, and he's in a lot of makeup, and he's very funny, and he like encapsulates kind of like the dry humor of the film. But he's also like he has some emotional beats. And he's one of the more like weirdly like heartfelt characters in the film. And I don't know, he's at the center of a lot of the like people are saying like this is one of the like the Yorgos films with the most heart, and a lot of that comes from Bella's narrative arc, but also a lot of that comes from Willem Dafoe. So I could also see him being snubbed though. With all that being said, like
exactly. So depending on I think we could be in a situation where we get like the Banshees. I mean, it's like last year where Brendan Gleeson was the one that was top two-ish contender, and Mark Ruffalo gets in. And then the one with slightly more out there, but with more passion, also comes on with it, and then starts to develop its own narrative. At which point, last year, Barry Keoghan was probably more likely than Brendan Gleeson to actually win. But because he sort of because he sort of took away from the narrative somewhat, it meant that neither of them could ever flourish in terms of a win competitive narrative. And I think that we could see that obviously that as well. But I think we could see a situation that's similar to that this year, where both get in, but the narratives just clashed with each other and are not clear win consensus ever.
Right.
Is risen, so neither of them end up taking it. But either way, I think this is where we could see another double nom. I think we just get two double noms this year. Like that's where I'm leaning.
But I want to put Charles Melton in. Is the thing.
Charles Melton, there is a very valid case. This is from this category. There's too many valid cases to be made for everyone. Like for years we've been thinking Willem Dafoe in categories.
Everybody has this 5, and this was my concern with Best Actor, where everybody had the 5. Everybody had like DiCaprio and Giamatti and Killian and Colin Domingo and Bradley Cooper. That was the 5 that everybody had since June. Okay?
Yeah.
It wasn't gonna hold. Something was gonna come up, and now, sure, it's October, but like it was just this feels weird as the 5 to me, and I think we're gonna get that one performance that's
Yeah. Because
you
I
know
mean,
the
yeah, as you
lone
say,
performance for the film.
and it's a talked about bit of May December. If anything is being talked about, it is
It's
Charles
him.
Melton.
He's already getting the pieces written about him
I
about how he
mean,
gained
yeah,
40
I'll
pounds for it.
defer to you. I'll defer to you because I've not seen Poor Things. If you don't think Willem Dafoe is happening, then I'm happy to
Yeah,
put
but here's
Charles
the thing. I
Melton
do think
in.
Willem Dafoe could like definitely happen, but also I've seen May December as a
Yeah,
view, and I think that Charles Melton could like definitely happen.
exactly. I think Charles Melton could become that lone pick. He would make
I mean,
sense. That I mean, the only other person who could really fill that role, I think, is probably Viola Davis, right? In terms of the lone supporting
yeah,
acting.
yeah.
Like I think she's the only one, right? So, and I mean that does tend to be filled. It is an interesting trend to follow, and it's one that has held true for a long time. So, yeah, maybe it is Melton.
I'm
And
leaning
also,
towards Melton.
that's not to rule out Dominic Sessa. I think he's great
I
in the
still
holdovers,
don't hate my Matt Damon idea.
and Matt Damon as well is still kicking about
I
there. I
still
do
think that
think.
could be a double. I think that the more
I
likely
don't
double
know.
is Poor Things. But I
Yeah,
think that Matt Damon will get like a precursor, and I maintain that.
potentially. But yeah, like a Dominic Sessa could just happen. He could come along with it.
If
I think
holdovers is
that would
big,
require someone to be snubbed. I think it would be a sort of snubbing by
well,
the Academy
anything
rather than.
happening in this category would require a snub.
Well, exactly. But like, I don't see Dominic Sessa, I guess, picking up precursors. He would be getting in just because the Academy decided
Yeah,
to go from, which they
yeah.
could if they really go for holdovers, bloody well, whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is a very interesting category, but
Okay, we still
if
didn't
you want to go
decide
Melton,
on a winner. I kind of want to switch to RDJ.
the narrative does make sense. I think if we just follow the narrative for the 4 acting categories
Like we
in
just need to be
November, some
like
of them
a
will be right.
cartoon character sniffing and floating along to the scent of the
Yeah,
narrative. We just need to be
yeah,
floating in the air to the scent of the pie
yeah,
narrative. And I think if we do that, we'll be fine.
for sure. I could see narratives bringing up the other performances in this category.
Yeah,
For
sure.
Ryan Gosling, I could see a narrative brought up. For Robert Downey Jr.,
I just think
for Mark
Downey
Ruffalo.
makes the most sense right now.
And it
Chadwick
would
Boseman
avoid
over
making
Goose.
Emily Blunt the sole
Yeah,
acting
yeah,
one.
I wouldn't feel.
Which
And that's
is
the other thing
weird.
is if we're predicting Bradley Cooper and we're also
Yeah,
predicting Emily Blunt, I wouldn't feel comfortable saying Emily Blunt is the only person from Oppenheimer to win an acting award. That would feel
no,
bizarre.
strange. Yeah, for sure.
So I think if it's a double supporting play, I think that's fine.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
think Killian could still win. Like I still I don't know. What's our best
Yeah.
actor video? So I think we go Downey, Gosling, De Niro, Ruffalo, and then I want to put Melton in.
Well, actually, I'd put Ruffalo and De Niro above Gosling. I've really dropped off for Gosling winning trade. I think there is
Okay.
more chance that Robert De Niro or Mark Ruffalo wins, but
Okay, that's fair. And then I want to do Melton.
yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that's a very valid choice. I think that's a good pick.
Like he kind of makes sense to
He's
me.
Brian Tyree Henry and Causeway. I think he's that.
Exactly.
I think if
Exactly.
he is the most, I think it will probably happen for a screenplay, but there's a chance it
And
doesn't.
also, like he could win like Critics Awards.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even just like right now, like I think he might win the Gotham.
Yes, he might well.
So, which obviously isn't like that important, but like I think
But
we can
it
see
would
that
be a
happen.
win against Gosling as well, since he was the net. So first battleground for the major Oscar contenders.
Yeah, but I know I want to put Melton in, but like Defoe is like a strong 6, and then yeah, I mean we've talked about it. Like there's also Coleman Domingo in Color Purple. I don't really want to touch that right now though.
That's not.
Sterling K. Brown, American Fiction.
I mean, if it gets
It's
SAG
there.
Ensemble,
If that gets SAG Ensemble, John Magaro, rest in peace.
oh yeah. No,
I still think he's incredible, and might
Yeah.
I like might still be my number. I don't know. Like I think he's amazing. Like I think he I think he's like one of the best actors we have right now working in Hollywood. And I really want this nomination for him, but I just don't see it at this point. There's just not room. If he was in like the supporting actors category, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
But this is just so full, and so like it isn't nearly as open. So yeah, I think that's where we stand right now. Melton in, Defoe just out, and I think we're joining the RDJ train.
Seems that way.
All right. Well, those are our thoughts on Best Supporting Actor. Rounding out the acting videos here for this month. You can go and watch the other ones if you haven't yet already. But until next time, you can support the SAG strikes in the links in the description, as well as following us on social media if that's something you are interested in. But until next time, thank you everybody for watching. Stay safe and goodbye.